Hello, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about why I don't buy new clothes. I did this video in the very early days of my channel. I think it was like my second video, and I don't really like that video anymore because I think I can do it a lot better now. So let's give it another shot and just get right into it. For over 3 years, I haven't purchased any new clothing. That even includes socks and underwear. But let's be clear, my wardrobe has not stayed exactly the same as it was in 2019. I still care about fashion, but now all of my clothing either comes from the thrift store, is secondhand from family and friends, or made by me, usually from secondhand materials like tablecloths, curtains, that kind of thing. I also try not to throw clothing or other textiles away unless absolutely necessary. I can't turn it into something new, I can't use it as rags, and I can't fix it or give it away. But according to the Recycling Council of Ontario, the average North American throws away about 81 pounds of textiles every year. Additionally, the Roadrunner Recycling Service estimates that that number is about twice as high as it was 20 years ago. There's so much perfectly fine clothing sitting in landfills and being incinerated that we could dress everyone on the planet dozens of times over without needing to make a single new garment. So instead of asking why I don't buy new clothes, let's start by asking why do we buy and produce so much new clothing in the first place? The short answer is fashion. Unlike 100 years ago, fashion trends move a mile a minute, with fast fashion brands employing about 52 fashion seasons a year. One for every week, with brands like Forever 21 and Shein releasing clothing collections for every one of them. How many fashion seasons were there in the 1900s? Maybe 4 max? For lower class people, which was most of society, there were 2. Cold season clothing and warm season clothing. Fabric used to hold such value that people would alter the same piece of clothing over and over again to make it more fashionable and pass it through the generations until it was literally falling apart. Preserved garments at museums like the Met show evidence of this. There was a trend in the Victorian era to take your grandmother's 18th century dress and alter the silhouette and details to make it more fashionable. Some examples are more subtle, like a 1950s dress in my personal collection that shows evidence of the waist being let out so that the owner can continue to wear it after gaining a bit of weight. A single garment could take weeks and even months to make and used such vast resources that people had no choice but to care what happened to these textiles. A lower class Victorian woman would have about 3 dresses, 2 for daily wear and 1 nice dress to wear to church or for special occasions. Now that fabric is so much cheaper and easier to attain, what does it matter if we throw away that t-shirt? It was only $10. And what does it matter if we buy a pair of jeans and they don't fit? We can just buy new ones. Have the jeans altered? Well, that takes time and money. Most of us aren't involved in our clothing. We don't put in the effort to make it, and we don't see the resources or talent it takes. We don't see what happens to it after we put it in the trash. And this is what we call progress. But it's not. All this is allowing ourselves to ignore the impact of our actions. Out of sight, out of mind. The truth is, the clothing you throw away still exists, whether you have to deal with it yourself or not. It's probably out there sitting in a landfill taking a couple hundred years to decompose. Buying secondhand saves you money, and it saves resources. There's no reason not to. There are even online thrift stores like ThredUp where you can buy secondhand clothing if you don't have a thrift store near you. Now let me just say that I don't expect everyone to stop buying new underwear. I know how to sew, so I like to make them because I can, and I like being involved in my clothes. But the point is, your choices make a difference. Wouldn't you rather buy a piece of clothing that will last? Wouldn't you rather know how to fix a button so you don't have to throw your favorite shirt away? Wouldn't you rather use the millions of garments that already exist rather than wasting resources and money on making more? I don't judge people for buying cheap new clothing. I've done it myself and I understand how appealing it can look. I used to buy clothing from Wish and Rambouillet and Forever 21, but since I stopped, I love my wardrobe more than ever. I'm more careful about what I choose, so I love what's in my closet. I also spend much less money than I would if I was replacing garments constantly. You don't have to be perfect, but if you just put in the effort to be a little bit more conscious about your clothing, you can make decisions that are not only more sustainable, but also better for your wallet. And that's what I call real progress. So that, I suppose, is my rant for today. I hope you got a little something out of it. For anyone who's confused about how I go about not buying new socks and underwear, I get socks secondhand. I personally am not uncomfortable with wearing used socks as long as they're still in decent condition. I just give them a clean and I'm happy. You can also find some socks and underwear that are still in the original package at the thrift store. As far as underwear, I still haven't really had to replace much, so I have made 1 pair, but I'd like to start making some more to get a little bit better of that, so when I actually really am desperate for new underwear, I know how to make them. If anyone is curious about my references, like the Recycling Council of Ontario, I will leave some links in the description if you want to look at them. Real quick before I finish off the video, I'd like to mention that I have an Etsy shop called Gwen's Vintage Box, where I'm selling vintage and antique curated boxes themed after different colors, as well as some different individual antiques and vintage items and some handmade accessories, and all of that will be in the link in the description if you want to check it out. So that would be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Like fashion. Why can't I speak? I can't anymore.